So let's be real for a second. Dungeons and Dragons has like a shit ton of monsters for you to throw at your players. Well into the hundreds, in fact. With so many, it's kind of inevitable that some seem to get lost in the masses, especially given that some are just so well known and popular. And for good reason. It's always cool to throw a dragon or a beholder at your party, but maybe sometimes you're looking for a fucking deep cut. Something new, something unique, something your players have never dealt with before. Now it's important to note that you can make virtually any monster encounter unique and interesting as long as you have the creativity. This is just an excuse for me to talk about a very cool monster that I haven't heard much discussion about, as well as just some general advice on when and how to use one as a DM. Within the monster manuals, as well as in the basic rules, one can find the humble creature known as the Nothic. First glance, they can be somewhat easy to pass over, primarily dwelling in the Underdark as well as any regions of significant arcane importance. They are these cyclopean monkeys with a very meh stat block and fairly generic attacks. The only one they seem to have that seems particularly unique is Rotting Gaze, and even that isn't anything uniquely impressive. But what if I told you that what makes a Nothic so interesting has nothing to do with how you use them in combat, but how you use them in roleplay? To lay some background on what precisely Nothics are, they're described as cursed arcanists, scholars of magic who were seeking power and were instead transformed by Vecna into aberrations, twisted monstrosities of magical origin that would go on to be known as Nothics. Weird frog-like body shapes, a gaping mouth full of teeth, long claws, and a singular baleful eye. The monster manual goes on to state that Nothics possess a great deal of magical and arcane secrets, as well as great reserves of hidden or even forbidden knowledge. Knowledge they will share for a price. Now this is all well and good, but the question remains, what exactly is it that makes this monster so fun for roleplay? And that would be its true signature ability, at least in my eyes, Weird Insight. A lot of players enjoy having secrets from the party, and it's easy to see why. It can create a lot of intrigue, and some of the most fun you will have in Dungeons & Dragons is when those secrets and backstories come into play during the campaign. But if your players tend to play things close to the chest and you're looking for that ideal opportunity to bring out their dirty laundry in a way that won't derail your campaign, Nothics are a good opportunity for that. As hoarders of magical, arcane, and forgotten secrets, Nothics can be fairly simple to include in your campaign. Perhaps your party needs to find an ancient temple. Perhaps it's a missing line in an incantation that's been lost to time. Maybe they need to know the origin of an arcane artifact. Any such line of investigation can, as a DM, lead very easily to including a Nothic. Now you can run Nothics in a variety of ways, but I personally like to lean into the idea that they just enjoy secrets and enjoy knowing things that no one else does. This leads, finally, to Weird Insight. This ability is, to me, what makes Nothics so interesting. If you have a party that likes to keep their secrets, this is an ability that can really knock a player on their ass. They're honestly very unlikely to see it coming, as Nothics are just so obscure. So watching the player sort of scramble after having some deep dark secrets of theirs be revealed or even just hinted at can be very fun. This is the ability that can show, perhaps, who the character truly is or who they once were. You do, as the DM, have to be selective in exactly what it is you reveal, as you don't want to completely negate the player's agency in sharing their own secrets and their own backstories. Personally, I simply like to hint to the player that failed the contest, letting them know that this creature has learned a secret of theirs, planting the seeds of curiosity in their party members. Maybe name drop the person they killed in their backstory, or even just the name of their childhood home they've long since forgotten or left behind. This ability lends itself really well to DM creativity and can make for especially interesting party interactions after the encounter when they're left to sort through whatever had been revealed. Lastly and leastly, you may want to find ways to make Nothics a bit more interesting to fight. It always struck me as odd that Nothics are supposedly great arcanists and former mages, yet in the monster manual they're not given any magic at all. So it may be worthwhile to grant a Nothic access to some offensive spells to reflect their status as twisted mages. Just be cautious in doing so, as it can be easy to overtune, especially if your party is lower level, which is probably when it is better to use a Nothic, as once you get to high levels, a lot of times your party might already know a lot about each other, and they will definitely not be threatening. But yeah, that is about it. I really do think Nothics are kind of the ultimate icebreaker in a way, and they are very useful, again, if you have a party that likes to play things close to the chest. Using a Nothic well can create genuine intrigue, drama, and character moments that might be harder to get otherwise. So use a Nothic smart and use it creatively, and you can have a moment that your players are not going to forget about, all because of one fairly mundane and often overlooked creature.